Falconer Timer.
Falconer Timer. Oh, man.
Oh, that's actually really good. That's actually really, really good.
That's kind of funny.
That's really funny.
Alright, pre-bans are in. Switching over. Pre-bans being Bassar and Ruel. First pick goes to Jace.
Pretty expected we see the A Vildred first pick.
We see the A Vildred, yeah. Not being banned, we're going to see it being picked up here. And
Green Vildred Hover. Interesting.
But I believe...
Okay. There we go.
So we see the Crow DN combo coming out. It's the tanky team overall. Tanky water team coming out.
Going with the Alencia, this is the first time today, I think, so far that we've seen someone bringing in Strip, being so powerful against such strong utility like DN.
True. Haven't seen Alencia yet so far, but I mean, against the DN, I think the Alencia is a really good pick.
100%.
Then Mei Chloe being a support unit to help keep the team alive here.
Yeah. I mean, with the defense buff from Crow as well, there's so much potential.
You see the A Ravi ML Ken, 2 tanky units being picked up.
But still extremely threatening too.
And I mean, at this rate, I think most people have seen Sean's new ML Ken. We've seen Sean, asking people, have you seen my new level 90 ML Ken? So in this case, yeah, Jace probably knows the stats on the ML Ken right now, and Jace figuring out how to counter this ML Ken too.
Yeah, the ML Charlotte is a way to start, with that bonus damage against dark elemental units on skill 3 is just incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and then being in this case, ML Charlotte having that passive also just helping the team take less damage with Alencia defense buff, Fallen Cecilia shield, making the team just a lot tankier overall now.
Very, very well rounded on both ends. Actually, we see the presence of sustain, utility, attack buff, heavy threats, but also damage mitigation.
And then we see Elena being picked up here.
Yeah, with all these buffs, Elena, DN, Crown, and all of them being water, banning out the Alencia.
Yeah, being a really good choice here, because if you can keep the debuffs up, then it's a lot harder for Arbiter Vildred to really do that much damage.
Yeah. And also forcing the 50% coin flip gamble potentially with LQC on her S3. Apocalypse Ravi banned, so there's no reviver on Sean's side. Let's see how good this MLK is.
Yeah, let's see how good this MLK is.
Yeah, basically.
DN going first, getting skill 3 up. All the buffs coming up from Sean's side here, and Jace isn't really going to get much damage through now because of all this. Elena has her buffs up. Still decides to defense buff, get the defense buff up on Crowd too.
Yeah, he's
here.
got everything up. Without the presence of the strip on Jasej's side, nothing to lose there. We just see how... Ooh, not max crit rate. Oh no,
DN buff. The DN.
Right. Losing the coin flip there.
Sean going for the soul burn on the ML Ken.
Show him who's best.
Whew. That instantly nukes the Arbiter Vildred, doing
That
a
was
lot of damage
actually-
there.
That was a lot more than I had anticipated.
Instantly nuking the Arbiter Vildred there, proccing the
Yeah.
Mei Chloe revive buff. We see the power of the have you seen my I-90 level Ken?
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, people forget how much damage, especially a soul burn, ML Ken S3 can do.
Mm-hmm. Trying to land a provoke on Mei Chloe here. And then Queen Charlotte getting a turn. 13k HP on the little Queen Charlotte. Is Jace gonna risk the skill 3 through all these debuffs? Oh, sorry, all these buffs. He doesn't, just goes for skill 1.
Yeah.
And try to wait out
Especially
there.
since her S3 is similar to Surmuse in that it is not pure defense penetration. So the defense buff is just can be a complete turn off to committing to the S3.
Mm-hmm.
Does get the basket. Soul burning. We see how powerful those buffs are. My gosh.
Yeah. This is ML Ken's shield is still there, so the shield hasn't even been taken down yet, unfortunately.
Wow.
And Arbiter Village doesn't get a proc. The skill 3 doesn't land any crits at all, which is unfortunate.
Judging on the damage, though, it doesn't look like he would have killed either way.
Mm-hmm. I guess, well, in a sense, it's good for him. If he landed the crit, ML Ken would have countered, would have killed.
True.
So
we're seeing DN just live through everything somehow.
mm-hmm. And DN next turn is going to be cycling her, having her skills back up now.
Mm-hmm. If he doesn't choose to try to kill DN right now with little Queen Charlotte.
I feel like that probably is his best bet, because, you know, DN is going to hinder his team a lot with all those buffs. And
committing
we
with
do
the
see the
S3.
skill 3 on the DN.
Not even risking it.
Arbiter Villager getting popped.
Once the next rotation of buffs come out, especially if Crowd manages to get another S2 off before it happens, when Maid Chloe revives Arbiter Vildred, he can just be committing himself to death again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with this. Have you seen my eye on the ML Ken?
and we're gonna see him save the skill 3 on Crowd though here.
Yeah.
Probably gonna wait to take a little bit more damage so he can nuke either the maid or someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Likely also setting up the defense buff, expecting what's to come. Make sure that even if Vildred comes back S3s, ML Ken just eats it up and kills.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this was a tome, Elena, correct? So there's no Celestine, etc. It's a proc and he heals.
Yeah.
So it's a race on the timer, but with Crow S3 coming off and
how much
see
damage
how
is
much
this going to
damage
do?
this does.
Almost
Not
kills.
enough, but ML Ken
ML Ken. The
here to show you.
have you seen my I-90 ML Ken kills the Maid
My
Chloe.
gosh.
And pretty much in this case, it's gonna be a difficult one unless this ML Charlotte can nuke the ML Ken straight up.
Probably waiting for the defense buff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on cooldown anyway, but waiting for the defense buff to wear off.
Ooh, skill nullifier coming through.
Ooh. Didn't crit on the ML Ken and didn't proc the counter, which is extremely fortunate. There we go. There's the tome. Topping everyone off.
Elena does have skill 3 up though, coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, ML Ken is safe for another turn rotation until he gets his turn there.
Yeah, they can.
So it's gonna be a little bit risky for the ML Charlotte at this point.
Mm-hmm. Though at the next rotation, depending on how fast ML Ken gets his turn, he will lose the defense buff, especially, which is particularly impactful. Never mind. Crow has it up again.
Crow being fast enough to turn rotate just to keep that defense buff on MLK.
Everything you say as a caster always gets negated. It's the rule.
We're gonna see the skill 3 come through.
Is it enough? This turn is all that matters.
Not enough.
It is not.
And have you seen my I-90 MLK bringing home the game for Sean? Sean taking round 1 there against Jace.
The copy pastas are rolling in.
Yeah. Have you seen my MLK? Is coming through, doing work. Sean himself spamming the copy pasta there.
Mm-hmm. Did a lot of work. 100%.
Round 1 going to Sean, and first pick being on Jace's side. So this time's first pick is gonna have to go to Sean here. So we're gonna wait for that to make sure we get that through.
No, I believe we're gonna one tap this.
One tap, okay. All right.
Easy, watch. Boom. Any second now.
Okay, we're gonna have to go through the rotation here. Gonna have to yield. Gonna have to wait for Sean to get the first pick before we can swap over.
And sorry, folks. Still trying.
Still trying to get the first pick rotation here.
Bro, what is still talking about?
All right. Got the first pick rotation here.
Seeing the Grau first pick yet again. He did a lot of work. But with Jay going for the A-Vildred ban instead of picking him up.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that MLK wasn't banned, to be honest. I'm a little surprised about that one. Considering I feel like that MLK definitely did a lot of work, but that one was a bit of a surprising ban there. Banning out his own A-Vildred, I guess.
Yeah.
Making sure Sean can't pick up A-Vildred here. Jason's taking a tanky team on Cecilia DN.
Yeah, we've seen how powerful DN is as just a core supportive unit. Really fitting in so much. Yeah, I can understand the thought process behind the A-Ravi ban previously, taking away the Reviver and the burst DPS, but, A-Vild into MLK feels,
I was a little bit surprised about Sean's last pick there being MLK and DN. Usually you would think is not the best combo, considering the fact that DN kind of screws over MLK by not letting him get crit.
Right.
But kind of worked out in his favor there, even though he didn't get crit a few times.
Second time we're seeing Alencia. Don't know if he's going to make it through or not, but
this time Alencia being picked up by Sean instead of Jace. And is that a ML Taiwan? Oh,
you thought.
Thought we were gonna see the very first ML Taiwan pick of the tournament.
RTA debut.
Maybe
we're asking for too much.
Asking for too much? Nah, man. Never. Never asking for too much.
Hey, Emil is not a bad unit, but I haven't exactly seen him in RPA that much. At the very least, not today. Ooh. That's
So,
spicy.
Jace picks up the ML This being a different ML we can't use the "Have you seen my ML now?" because Jace doesn't ask everyone, "Have you seen my ML unlike Sean here. So totally different ML here, unfortunately. But Jace does pick up an interesting one, being Champion Zerato. Sean doesn't really have many debuffs here, so I find the Champion Zerato pick a little bit strange, to be honest.
Yeah. Normally we would associate it with a reactionary pick. Like if someone slots in debuffs, people will typically respond with Champion Zerato inherently. This is, I agree, rather interesting. We saw the green Purgus be hovered. Unfortunately not.
And what's interesting here is, we were just talking about this, but we do see Jace pick up the DN and the ML combo together here, which is a little bit on the surprising side.
Yeah. But given how much work both of those units have been putting in over the last several rounds. Ooh. No. We do see the ambitious.
We do see the Tywin
slotted in. There we go.
And I've gotten the request to hide bans, so I'm just gonna set up a chicken here until the bans are done before we reveal the bans. So yeah, you guys, don't worry about it. It's just a chicken.
Oh, chat, ignore dirt.
Alright, see the bans go through, and we see the Fallen Cecilia ban along with the So Sean is left. Sean is left with no healers, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, they're all four very tanky units that are all extremely high threats, but without sustain to keep them topped off.
So this is gonna be interesting. We see the ambitious Tywin coming through. I'm gonna see if this guy does any work. First time seeing him in tournament. Sorry about the Aethers.
You can see him contemplate for a second, just using the S3 for some damage. I think correctly choosing not to, obviously. First of all, there's the Anti-Crit. You don't want to gamble with your biggest nuke, and second of all, you lose the utility part of it as well. So I think that was a smart decision.
Champions are out going for the defense break, even though 2 meters were up, but then doesn't land any defense breaks on Kara A. Ravi. Kara probably being on high effect resist.
Meanwhile, Alencia landing almost every single strip.
Doesn't crit ML either. There with I guess that being a bit of the weird combo, DN ML.
Right.
A little bit of an I find Jace's team very interesting because Champions are and Ambitious Tywin both being units that counter debuffers, while Sean not really having much debuffs.
Right, exactly.
Except for
we have the
provokes,
break.
I guess. Like
armor break from Valencia S1.
Yeah.
Provoke from the Corvus.
So it's a bit of an interesting team comp. And Tywin looking mighty squishy there also.
Right.
Sean deciding to focus the Tywin first. Does get the provoke off, but being cleansed by Tywin there.
He does have Mind's Eye propped up on this Alencia. That's another thing to keep in mind as we go into this next turn. We'll see if something dies or not. Does land the defense break. Combos with the crit.
Still gets the crit off even through the shield.
Right. fortunately for Jace, is tanky enough to survive the hit. But we're looking at how much damage is this going to do.
Is this a damage
glory
timeline?
expose?
And
Not much.
Tywin not hitting much through, but does get all the debuffs off.
Right. But Dark Corvus is getting his turn soon.
Mm-hmm. DN opting to go for skill on Corvus, and Tywin dying. Tywin is dead here. Through crit or not.
He wanted to secure making it the 4v3 by using the S3 preemptively, even though he doesn't gain any utility from it. But here we can see the HP on the MLK. He knows, like, if he was paying attention to the bottom left, he knows that depending on the build, he should kill.
And he does go for the MLK, which pretty much leaves Jace with no damage dealers left. And
that was the correct play. And we see interesting comps, but I think that's game, right?
Pretty much, like,
looks like it.
Kraus still has skill 3 up. And
oh yeah, and you saw the mouse hover to the bottom left, making sure, paying attention to the HP.
And we do see the win coming through with Sean. Jace forfeiting the match there. So that was a little bit of a strange team, I would say, coming from Jace there. A little bit surprising. A little bit surprised there, to be honest. The team company picked up. And we get Sean winning the match 2-0.
Outstanding gameplay as well.
I think that first round was definitely one of the better ones. Sean's have you seen my level 90 ML, my I-90 level Ken? Bringing a lot of work